Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is NBL Overtime. Hashtag NBL Overtime to get involved at NBL. I don't know why I'm whispering. I should be shouting. I'm that excited as we get closer and closer to the playoffs for NBL 22. Homicide in the house. How you doing, buddy?
I'm very, very well, but I know who isn't very, very well.
Who?
Perth Wildcats.
Straight off the top, Liam Santamaria, number one broadcaster in the game. Power rankings not far away. Studs and duds. NBL.com.au via the NBL app. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm good. A little tired. Late one last night with the Wildcats and Melbourne United, but gearing up for the finals.
Let's start there. It was a Monday night that we got to spend together. It did go late, but it served up exactly what we hoped it would, because this Melbourne United team had lost 2 in a row. The Wildcats, likewise, both at RAC Arena when it comes to the Perth Wildcats. But Chris Goulding, or CG43 as Homicide dubs him when he's in this aggressive mood, off the tip was brilliant, and Melbourne United get the win, as they have done a lot recently in the West.
Reminded everybody of why they are well and truly in that race for the championship, Melbourne United, why they're top of the table. Their defence well and truly stood up last night in what was really a playoff-type atmosphere, and more trouble for the Wildcats. 3 losses in a row now, all against good teams, the Tassie Jack Jumpers, the Kings, of course, and this one against Melbourne United. But I think, this was... Dean Vickerman would have just been so happy with the way this game played out. Everything that they wanted to do, containing Cotton, containing Law, getting Chris Goulding going, Matthew Dellavedova knocking shots down from long range. Everything came up trumps for Melbourne United. And just a bit of a reminder for everyone around the league of what they're about.
I really like what I saw, especially with that man right there. Big hit from the Kmart logo, but they're just a different team when he's on the front foot. Defensively, they shut down Bryce Cotton when it mattered most, when it was Cotton time. Shaley, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 5 steals. He was sensational on the defensive end for Melbourne United. JLA, foul trouble, 14, 6, and 3. But that backcourt, Delhi hit 5 threes yesterday. When he's shooting and hitting from the land of plenty, I don't even think they lose. The scouting report is accurate. Play off him until he makes threes. And once he starts to make them, as he was doing last night, 17, 5 of 7 from 3, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. Great game from him and great defense as well. CG43, 18, 4, and 4. I just love, like everybody else, I just love when he's in that mode. You knew when he came out, it was refused to lose. You mentioned earlier in the call, he took 9 shots the game before in Illawarra. You know that was not going to be the case going out west in the RAC Arena. And hell of a win on the road. As you said, they reminded everybody they are in pole position to defend their title.
You mentioned the Dellavedova thing. Liam and I spoke post-game last night about this. Traditionally, when you're in a situation where you go under a screen and you dare someone to shoot, they don't have the confidence that comes with playing in the NBA and playing for Australia and being an NBA champion. Dellavedova's shot isn't his main skill set or his strong point, but his confidence is. So when you are like, there you go, just shoot that. Traditionally, the player's in 2 minds. Dellavedova's not. He's like, I'm an NBA champion, baby. I'm going to let this fly. So they live and die, and it's happened a couple of times now, and I'm looking forward to see how they play it, any team, against him into the playoffs, because if you dare to do that, he's not second-guessing himself.
No.
He's letting it fly, and there's a big difference between second-guessing yourself or not being able to shoot. And right now, Dellavedova's like, I love life.
It's a really great point. And you see it, like, people will have experienced this all around the country, where you see NBL players who maybe in the league are a little hesitant from long range, and then they go into the NBL 1 and they're just not afraid to shoot it. They let it fly and they play with confidence, they knock it down. And then people would have seen it from guys that are playing NBL 1 who then fill in for their mates midweek team around the country, and then they just come out and shoot the ball with confidence. That's Matthew Dellavedova from long range right now. And I think, Corey, you're bang on. Now, I've said all year, Melbourne United they can go to a place defensively that nobody else can get to. And that's why I feel like they're the team to beat for the championship. Sydney Kings, 10 wins in a row, terrific. Illawarra have looked fantastic. Perth, always. Melbourne are the team to beat for that reason. But the thing is, their flaw defensively, their worst game defensively, if Shea Yili and Matthew Dellavedova are knocking down shots, it's still at a level where they're going to beat you. So it changes everything when those guys are knocking down those shots.
Before I let you loose on Perth, Udai Bubba last night started. Caleb Agada out with the injury. This is why they brought him in. Dellavedova, Shea Yili, Udai Bubba to take on the Bryce Cotton and tire him out. And we've got to go through a series to be able to progress or win a championship. Same as Jalen Adams. The two main guys, the two front runners for the MVP, are going to have to see the three-headed defensive monster when you take on Melbourne United. All right, you're off them in the preseason. You kind of clamp it back on the bandwagon, but it feels like you're off them right now. The news today that the NBL released that, yes, as we spoke about last week, the Perth Wildcats did, in fact, try to get an exemption to allow John Brown to play. It was denied, so they're rolling in with the roster they've had for the entire or most of the entire season. Take it away.
I mean, I don't really have. This is not a talk bad about Perth Wildcats, beat them down, and go on a rant like years past. But they really are in trouble because if you have the ability, Melbourne United, like they showed, to wear down Bryce Cotton, which they did. They wore him like a cheap suit. He could not get any good looks, any clean looks. And if any defender got in foul trouble or tired, here's a new one. They pretty much did. They have like 3 Damian Martins. 1 Damian Martin is too much. 3, you're not getting off. And Vic Law got into foul trouble. He's the guy that's supposed to take the pressure off. He's done it the majority of the season, for sure. He's done a great job. But if he's in foul trouble, who's the other guy? And shout out to Jack White. That matchup between Jack White and Vic Law has been great all year, right? So who else is going to step up and be there? That's the question right there. And they don't have anybody. They don't have anybody to consistently, okay, you're the guy, you go handle this. They don't have that.
The hard thing for Wildcats fans is that they watch Daly and Shea Yili do that to Bryce Cotton and they see Damian Martin. They see shades of Damian Martin.
Of course.
What Damo did to Cedric Jackson in the grand final series where he was grand final MVP, they're watching that happen. And then what makes it even more difficult is then they look to that Vic Law matchup and in Jack White, they see a young Andrew Vlahoff.
Dude.
And they're thinking, man, we watched what this can do and it makes things tough. The problem for the Wildcats, of course, Mitch Norton.
Mitch Norton.
He is that toughness, that edge that he brings to that team that they're missing. But the other thing is they know, that front office, the coaching staff, they know what we've known all year, and that is they needed to get better, bigger, stronger defensively and on the glass. That's why they tried to bring in John Brown III. Hasn't happened, and now they're just a little short in that area.
Hashtag NBL Overtime to get involved at NBL. Good to see 75% last night into RAC Arena. That is expected to go up. So Norton and higher intensity, although it's hard to get higher than last night, they still had a chance to win that game in the fourth quarter. I think they are, in my opinion, the 4th of the top 4, but I also am like, they're right there. Mitch Norton comes back in. It tweaks the offense, and defensively they get a little bit better. Who knows?
Can they beat Melbourne or Sydney in a series?
No. No.
I agree. Just on that.
Ain't happening.
Okay.
With the healthy Mitch.
Here we go.
I was trying to be cool.
I know. Now we're into it.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah,
Let's just go.
Can they win a game?
They can win one.
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to find out where the
we
line
going?
was.
You mentioned cheap suit. Is that it's a whole suit, right?
Dude, can you go a show without touching the man?
I can't. Look at this thing.
Do you know?
Look at this thing.
Do you want to give him a cuddle?
I've never seen an Adidas suit.
Just give him a
before.
cuddle and we'll just get on with
I'm
it.
a Nike guy, but I like it. Where are we? Let's talk Sydney. 10 in a row, and they were brilliant on Sunday. They rolled into Tasmania. It was obviously going to be a big one. Tassie and the Jack Jumpers, they can sniff the top 4, and Sydney went in and just go, beat down. Disagree?
That's what they did.
They did.
Right from the opening tip.
I think I've hurt my hand.
Look at the score. It's just racking up as we cut to a new play as they got up by, 30 in the first half against a team that's been really hard to play against for all kinds of teams and have been taking all kinds of scalps. They just came in and just completely wiped them off the floor, doing their thing. Jalen Adams doesn't really care for this idea of pressure and tough. He's just out there balling, and the whole team is following suit. completely flowing with confidence, getting it done at both ends of the floor, which I think shows what they're about and going to be about in the playoffs. But they have all of what you need. They have buy-in defensively. They have elite offensive talent. They've got 3 imports that are absolutely balling right now and role players doing their thing. What they don't have collectively and in that coaching staff with Chase Buford right now is NBL playoff experience.
Doesn't matter.
And I think in a matchup against Melbourne United in particular, and in a matchup against Brian Goorjian coach team in the Illawarra Hawks, I think that could become a hurdle for them.
Do you think that matters, Homicide? Not having specific NBL playoff experience?
Put this camera on. You can cut off them highlights, please.
Here we go.
Appreciate you guys.
Here
in the
we
back.
go.
Shout out to you. Shout out to McCall Maker. Because in the beginning of the season, he wasn't getting opportunity. And the stuff that he's doing now, he is showing all of us. I didn't know it. This is a talented young man. And shout out to you. There was some turnaround plays he was making. He's ready to go. Like he is super talented. And when I say ready to go, I mean just when he's on the court. He is ready to play. His confidence is through the roof. And it starts at the top. Chase Buford got these young cats going. Mm-hmm. Jalen Adams, MVP of the league, he got everybody going. So when everybody from the top is confident, it just trickles down. And he's the perfect example of how confident this team is. Ian Clark, they have not lost with this young man. They have not lost with him, okay? So when we talk playoff and championship experience, none greater than NBA championship, okay? 2 players got the NBA championship experience, if I'm correct, right? Jalen Adams, didn't he get a little something with Milwaukee?
Did he?
Did he?
I was unaware of that. I don't think he did. Chase Buford was involved.
Okay.
But not Jalen Adams.
They were going to win a G League title.
They were.
Okay. One of them. Coach is involved, right? Because he was, Coach Buford was on the roster as a coach with the Bucks,
Yep,
right?
He was.
So these guys know what it takes, is my point. Look at their run going home. Adelaide, New Zealand, Illawarra, tough game. Adelaide again, Cairns, Illawarra, another tough game. At worst, they go 5-2. They're not going 5-2. I say they go 6-1. They'll probably lose to Illawarra once.
Finish on top?
I don't have the calculations in front of me,
They'll
so
probably finish second.
I'm not sure. But the beautiful thing about it is home court advantage. You want that smoke in Sydney? No, you don't. No, you do not. Nobody wants that smoke in Sydney. It's hard to go past this team. They're on a mission. We know, we've seen this a lot. Teams rolling and then finals hit, things change, right? Defenses tighten up,
let's talk about
scout
that.
report, all of these things. The 3-headed monster, Melbourne United. Gorge, Vickerman, all of them. But you know what I see in my crystal ball?
Uh-oh.
You know what I see in that crystal ball?
Tell us.
Don't do it to him.
The battle on that highway, New South Wales, that's the grand final. Sydney versus Illawarra.
Now-
You better hope in the first round they don't match up against each other.
Well-
But I believe that's going to be the matchup. I believe that.
Now,
I truly believe that.
I think the fact they play each other twice almost means they'll finish second and third or first and fourth. Because if Sydney beat Illawarra twice, I reckon they might finish on top and run the table.
You're going to need Melbourne to do
Illawarra
some serious slipping up.
I don't think will happen.
Which probably is not going to happen. And here's what I'm thinking about when I talk about playoff experience.
Yep.
I remember this so clearly. I was in the arena, sitting there courtside, calling it on radio. I think it was 2017. Melbourne United, they finish on top. First round series against New Zealand. Mika Vukona comes in. And with all his playoff experience, knowing what it takes with the grit and grind of the NBL playoffs, he just comes in and in the first quarter, he wipes Melbourne United off the floor. And they come in, grab and go. They win the game. They go back to New Zealand. They close it out. Melbourne United, straight sets from top of the table.
Out of there.
No, and super talented. But They had a guy there who had won titles, knew about the NBL playoffs, and he came in and changed everything. And I look at Gorgian. He's not on the floor, but he has that kind of aura about him. I look at these guys like Shea Illy for Melbourne United, Chris Goulding, and we saw remember Chris Goulding, Game 5 of the Grand Final Series against Adelaide, where he just wiped them off the floor. I worry about that for the Kings because this is a championship caliber team, and that's something they're just going to need to get through.
But they've got experience and veteran leadership in it's not specifically NBL playoff series, as I understand that, but I also think, to Corey's point, they've got people who have done it in different ways. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to handle every single scenario that's thrown at them, but I also don't think I think the Melbourne United team were very good, but if you go back and look at it, they were led by Chris Goulding, who hadn't probably tasted the success yet that he has now. So there was probably a little bit of that as well.
So where is this one team's led by Jalen Adams? Has he had that?
Well, Ian Clark's there as well. It's probably led from an Andrew Bogut in the front office.
Xavier Cooks.
Buford.
Yeah.
I get your point, but I also think you mean too NBL specific. It is going to be fun.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. And Illawarra are making it fun.
Whew.
Antonius Cleveland, he's all NBL first team, right? We all agree?
I agree.
Facts.
Done. He's leading this team. He changed. I have continued to say this, probably too much.
Wait a minute.
They were 12 down in the third quarter of the Phoenix on the road.
That was the moment.
Gorgian gave them a spray and said, we're
moment.
playing for our lives. And the whole thing's changed. And Illawarra have been almost unbeatable since, including going to Melbourne twice and knocking off United.
You're right. That was the moment.
It was the moment.
Midway through round 14, they were in a big hole. He'd been saying for weeks, we're playing for our season, we're playing for our lives. And in that moment, down double digits, Antonius Cleveland took his energy to a whole nother level, and he hasn't looked back. And he's just been playing, he's just gone after it, and the whole team has followed suit. Xavier Mays, playing terrific right now, has just really grabbed a hold of his role and doing that beautifully. And the whole team, even without Tyler Harvey, and I think, Brian Gorgian made a great point over the weekend. He said last year Tyler Harvey missed a couple of games. We lost. We just were not in a position to win games without Tyler on the floor. Not a problem. This year we made some adjustments. We've got the stretch big in Duop Reith. We've got the extra playmaker and ball handler in Return Mays. And this team has solved the puzzle. They've worked themselves out, and they're a really tough out right now.
Can you put the camera on, please?
Guy Neville stayed up to 2 a.m. this morning working on these highlight packages.
Oh, no.
And Homicide's like, screw it.
Oh, no.
Give him the camera. There you go.
First of all, I want to say I'm back on the train. That's number one. You see my colors on. You see the colors that I'm wearing. Illawarra, I put this on for you. I got a whole sweatsuit on. I put it on for you. Anyway.
For the title.
I'm just saying that I'm back on the train. What they did has never been done in Melbourne. In any of these arenas the Melbourne United have played in. We're going to say Hisense to beat in 1 week Melbourne United on the road twice. The way you've done that, very, very impressive. This was the Illawarra I wanted to see in the beginning. This is why I said they're going to win the championship. I was hype on them. You guys, I don't know what you guys did. You nosedived badly. I jumped off the train. 100%. I'm not. Who is going to stay on a train that's going to be wrecked and you seeing it wrecked? You get off. That's what I did.
Hey, look, to be fair, it's a really good metaphor and it makes sense. Go
Facts. So with that, you guys now figured it out.
You meant to stick fat.
No.
That's what sports about in some small way.
No way.
Go for it.
No way. Xavier Mays. Let me tell you why I'm impressed. Because he can handle the pressure. The same way those guards was throwing pressure on Bryce Cotton, wasn't able to get off, Xavier Mays just took Shea Illy in the post. Come on over here on my backside. Just stay right here on my hip. And let's get to work. Too big, too strong. He was not able to rattle him the way Shea Illy, Delhi usually rattles players. He's hitting that mid-range shot.
He's closing.
Making plays happen without Tyler Harvey. I knew this guy was a great signing. And, there go the highlights again. There we go. Look at this. Whoop! Highlight play. Boom! You see the athleticism in that man right there?
The bounce.
Listen, the bounce, the intensity. Defensively, what he's able to do, Antonius Cleveland, that's changing the whole team morale defensively. Then you have Duop Reith, 18-9. AC came in 22, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 block. He's just making plays happen. And I'm telling you, man, that man right there has been impressive, and he's come alive at the right time when it mattered most. No Tyler Harvey. You couldn't tell me. You could not tell me Melbourne United was not going to win that game without Tyler Harvey, because he was the one that lit him up the week earlier in the week, last round. So just know this, I'm back on the train. All right? Y'all can try to keep me off the train. I'm hearing things. It ain't happening. I'm back on the train. All right, you got it.
So you're telling me you went through your wardrobe to find the Adidas power suit that coincided with the Hawks colours?
Let me show you what I
Here we
got.
go. No, I see once you go on, man. It's
Let me
a
show
full
them.
suit.
They know. I'm with Illawarra today. You see me? Look at this. See the stripes?
Remarkable scene.
Take a photo.
You know what I'm saying? See what I'm doing? All of it on.
Now,
Illawarra
can I
fit.
just make a quick point about Ratam Mays and his closing?
go on.
Because Gorge made the comparison to Kavossi Franklin during the season, saying,
Ooh.
well, we had to get to a point where we limited his dribbles at practice. So you know what? You're only allowed to take 2 dribbles because you're taking the air out of the ball. We needed to move a little bit. But now he's at a point where there's shades of Rob Rose. Now, I know that's a huge name to throw out.
Shout out to Rob Rose.
But when Rob Rose first came to the league with the Magic, they got to a point, he and Gorge, an understanding. He said, you know what, I'll get everyone involved, sure. But when there's 3 minutes on the clock and it's
My
a close
time.
game, it's my ball. That's where they're at with Ratam Mays now with his pick and roll game.
Forget Vickerman. Forget Gorgian. Forget Morrison. Forget Roth. Forget any player in the NBL. The hardest job right now in the NBL is to be able to decipher the power rankings, and it leads to a hell of a lot of abuse to @Liam Santa. @Liam Santa. If you're not happy with these, Liam, we'll go to you first, Thomas. What do you make of it? King's there. Little change. Yeah. What do you make of it?
I think I'd put the Jack Jumpers over Perth. 3 straight losses, I would do that.
They're on 2 straight losses. No, sorry.
Perth Wildcats?
No,
Yeah,
Jack.
I would
The
put that.
Taipans have gone past the Phoenix.
Oh, no. Grizz, don't call me.
Yeah, I'd put Tasmania above Perth.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's quickly talk about the Taipans and the Phoenix. We'll lump them in. They played together on Saturday night. The Taipans have got pride to play for, and they're playing really well. And Adam Ford's got his men firing late. And the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix had the playoffs and a championship we all thought they were going to contend with for a month ago. And in the end, the Taipans just belted them. Liam, you take it away.
I like how you're a positive guy.
I am a positive
because
guy. I'm
the
a glass
story of
half
this
full.
game is the Phoenix losing, right?
I know.
The story of the power rankings is the Phoenix sitting
Yeah, it
at
is.
7th spot or so. But let's celebrate the Taipans.
Yeah, you're right. Let's do it.
Because they've won 4 of their last 5. They got 2 wins over the course of round 18, and they played spoiler to perfection in this one. Machado's feeling good. He's up and about. Courtney's finding some form. Majuk Deng's feeling good. They got 2 imports sitting on the sidelines in Zimmerman and Tajir McCall, and they're not missing a beat. Now, of course, we can continue to rattle off names. Bull Qual playing terrific. And best of all, Keanu Pinder. We're going to talk about him a little bit more a little bit later. But this squad as a whole, I love the way they're finishing the season. Because they could just roll over and whittle this season away without really bringing the heat down the stretch. But they're coming strong and playing hard for their coach, and I'm here for it.
All right, I like that glass half full approach, and I'm here for it as well. But you're right. The story is Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. I asked you last week, Ryan Brockhoff. Is it as simple as that? Because he's gone out injured.
It's not as simple.
They've been nowhere near it. Then what is it? What is it? Because they're still talented. They've still got a great deal of talent. They're missing him. I get it. So what is it?
Man, you know who called this? Andrew Bogut. Credit where credit's due. When this team was 10-5, they even went to 11-5. But when they were 10-5, sitting pretty at second on the table, he came out in the paper and said, that team's missing the finals. I was like, what? You got to be. He said, they're missing the finals. I see what's going on, but I don't like it. And he's been proven to be correct. Credit to him. They, I don't know, the mix. Ryan Brockhoff is a key element, but the mix is Xavier Mumford isn't the closer that they wanted him to be. Their pick and roll coverage with Joe Chi has been a little bit of a changing feast all season. They've never really quite worked that out. And they have, in this period of time, they've got the wobbles. Whereas other teams like the Illawarra Hawks have just gone out and grabbed their moment. this team's let it slip through their fingers.
No, they haven't got the wobbles. The wheels have absolutely, all four of them, fallen off. Because they were a team that looked like they were going to challenge. We're getting excited about a possible throwdown final that, the Melbourne basketball fans missed last year because it was in Sydney. Some started dreaming of a grand final between the two. Now the Taipans have gone past them in the eyes of Homicide. What does it mean for the coach next year? Simon Mitchell's done an amazing job. An amazing job. They're a quarter away. In fact, they're moments away, minutes away from getting to a grand final. And the way that Melbourne were able to deal with a Bryce Cotton-less Perth, possibly a championship. What does it mean for the coach, Homicide, do you think, going forward, who's out of contract?
Failure to close games. Your core is still together, and you should clearly have been better than where you're sitting right now, right? You cannot go to, there was must-win games. You could not lose. You go to Adelaide, must win. That's when the wheels officially fell off, when you lose that game in Adelaide. Then you go to Cairns and lose that game. This is why this league is such a respected league, because you got to show up every night. There are no off games. I don't care if a team's not making finals. Look at what's going on in New Zealand. They might be losing a whole lot of games, but that's not a walk in the park. You got to beat them. And they just did not have the ability to close out. It's going to be tough for them. Good luck. It's going to be tough. Because as you said, the year before, you go a game away, a quarter away from getting to the grand finals. And to go out like this, it's a bad look.
Just before we move on, just on Simon Mitchell, I would like to see them back him in for one more year and right the ship that's become rocky. I'd like to see, I'm a glass half full type of guy, I'd like to see him lean on what happened last year, new franchise, and give him the opportunity to ride it, 1 year deal, and see what happens. Now, pro sport doesn't traditionally give a lot of leeway to the coaches, but that's what I'd like to see.
It's an interesting one because he has been a key part of very quickly building them into an elite team in the league.
The franchise, not just on court as well, the entire franchise off court as well.
Tough decision for them to look at.
All right,
you know what I wish they would have done defensively? Do what Sydney did with Bogut, with Joe Chi. Play the drop. Play the drop. Keep him in the paint. Keep him in the paint.
Well, that's the point that Bogut made at the time.
I wish they would have played the drop.
Yeah, he was saying Simon Mitchell's he does't play that coverage. He's not comfortable with that coverage. There's a lot more to it than just what that guy does. It's the whole group.
You're not coming in the paint to score. How many people have actually went to the lane and scored on Joe Chi when he's there defending him? Sit your behind in that paint.
All right, Santa's watching. All thanks to Amy. This will be interesting because last night he actually asked in a halftime interview if Keanu Pinder is going to sign a contract. So fire away, mate. Have you got yourself in there?
Well, I've got Oscar Foreman in there.
Yo, what is this?
80s night.
That's how Oscar dresses.
He was the only one who got the memo. Was it April Fool's? Oh, my goodness gracious, Isaac.
There it is.
The 3 goggles.
Love it.
We're up and about. And how about the celebrations? There's some real swag.
Isaac, what?
And Gorge, Gorge wasn't getting involved.
He was pumped, though.
I always like after the buzzer, Golding. We had Cotton last week. Bang.
Boom.
And the pickle juice. He didn't like it.
Yeah, I'd rather cramp.
Had to get it done.
He had to get it done. He's like, give me that water. You know what?
Give me something. Anything to wash this down.
Mate,
he's like, Coach, I have no idea what you said. It worked, but nah.
Mate.
Never again.
Oh, mate, you're up 25. I'd rather take the cramp and sit on the bench and just watch your team roll on in.
He's got an MVP to win.
All thanks to Amy. All right, JD, sneaker of the week. Who we got? I have a feeling it's a guy who got above the rim last night and threw it down. Corey Forlows.
Okay.
Qual, who's having a hell of a year. That Rookie of the Year trophy's already been given by our man Homicide. And, of course, this week at JD Sports, the Undisputed King of Trainers are launching the men's Air Jordan 1 Kid Shadow. Of course, Jordan's original signature model, wolf grey, black upper, red accents. That is a delicious, beautiful piece of footwear. Make sure you get involved. They launch this Friday, the 8th of April, only online via the JD AU app. Download the app today to make sure you don't miss out.
Illawarra.
Lost it already. No, thanks, mate. That's why you lead the league in assists or not?
1 year.
What? There you go. You've just got another one. What are you most looking forward to next 3 days?
Throwdown.
Mate, We're literally with the shot clock down at 5. Give me something.
He choked.
Too late. Look at that.
He choked.
Look at that. Net. Bang. See ya.